How come it took 30 years for Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. to receive illegitimate Tupac plaques for something he had nothing to do with? Oh yeah, he's trying to legitimize himself and placing himself in the history of having something to do with Tupac Shakur's music, when we all know that that's false. Let's get into some of this straight game.
Yeah. Blackjack. Life is like a game of cards. It's not what you dealt, but how you play it. Yeah. Blackjack. To play each situation correctly. I remember they used to laugh at a brother.
Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. It's your boy DELRAY, Richardson, platinum artist, platinum songwriter, Straight Game TV. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate your time. Do me a favor. Hit the thumbs up button notification as it pushes the content out to more potential subscribers, as well as the people who have already subscribed. If you have not done so, please subscribe to the channel and also tell a friend. And like I always say, if this is your first time watching Straight Game TV and you would like to be one of the first people notified when I drop some of this straight game, please do me a favor and hit that bell notification right below this video. I'm going to get right into it. Ladies and gentlemen, the earth is round. And that's one of the reasons why we use the slogan, or people use the statement, what goes around comes around, right? And so when I first started doing this YouTube journey, you know, as you see, I got the plaques on the wall right here. 5 million for the Games album, the documentary which sampled my 2Pac's album, and the Tupac Resurrection soundtrack, in which the song was also in the movie, and you know, the sales plateau for that record, or should I say both of those records, right? As well as other awards that I've won, you know, in the music business. And so once I came on the scene, there was this attempt to try and discredit me by Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. and Gullible John. They tried to delegitimize who I was as an individual and my accomplishments, right? They were saying that the plaques on the wall were, you know, they weren't real and so on and so forth. Actually, these are Recording Industry Association of America certified plaques, right? The Recording Industry Association of America. And these are the people who actually basically certify the record sales, the numbers that the records actually do. And so with that being said, there was a video done just yesterday of Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. and Gullible John trying to now legitimize Reggie the Rat Wright Jr., right? By displaying plaques, which they say were given to them by the Tupac estate. Now, let me explain something to you. Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. didn't write a song. He didn't produce anything. He didn't A&R anything, right? Therefore, the plaques that he showed you yesterday were not legit. Not that they weren't legit in them being real as far as what the accomplishments were that Tupac created from that perspective, but they weren't legit in the fact that Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. produced anything, wrote anything, A&R managed anything, or none of the above, the things that would normally qualify you to be able to obtain gold and platinum records based on sales plateaus, based on a person's contribution to the record, be it somebody sampled your record, be it you being a co-writer on the record, being whatever it is, correct? So I take you back to when they saw mine. They tried to delegitimize me, but I presented the paperwork that basically showed my writer's credits, my royalty checks, and all of the above, the information that would substantiate the reason and the facts behind me having the plaques that I have on my wall, which, as you can see in this picture right here, are RIAA certified, right? The same thing that Reggie tried to show you in his recent video. Herein lies the hypocrisy. Once again, I told you guys that Tupac fired Reggie, had nothing to do with him. Here it is 20, 30 years later. He's finally receiving plaques from the Tupac estate, as he says, with his name on it, right? As that somehow legitimizes his relationship and contribution to Tupac's work. When in all actuality and in all truth, he contributed nothing. He didn't help do anything. All of the music was already done, right? When you think about putting a record together, once again, I told you that Tupac wasn't signed to Death Row. And more so when Tupac had passed away, his posthumous albums, right? Everything was basically governed and ran by Interscope, the hidden hand, if you will, right? And so when we talk about what was done, and that's the reason why when Afeni Shakur was alive, Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. didn't have any plaques in relation to none of these records. Because number one, Afeni didn't mess with Reggie. You know what I mean? We know in Vegas, when it came time to protecting Tupac and guarding Tupac, we know that Reggie the Rat Wright Jr.'s security team was not there and they were not present. And it was the Outlaws, along with family members and everybody else, that held Tupac down while he laid in a university medical center, dying from gunshot wounds, from not being protected accordingly by Reggie the Rat Wright Jr.'s so-called security company. It was a dismal failure, right? So now all of a sudden we have this Monday morning quarterbacking attempt, right, to obtain some plaques from the estate. And like I told you, if Afeni Shakur was alive, she wouldn't have sent Reggie nothing. And I know that for a fact. Absolutely, positively nothing. Tupac Shakur fired this guy, right? So whatever relationship now he may have with the estate, and the funny part is, in the video, he actually tries to align himself with Suge, Afeni, Tom Wally, as if he was as important as they were to the career of Tupac Shakur.
So this for those of y'all that don't know how an official plaque looks, because I know it's a lot of fake plaques out there y'all be seeing hanging up in backgrounds in people's houses and stuff. Just want to show y'all how the real one look, and to show you that the only one gets these plaques are people that, not the security guard, as y'all like to say, or, you know, the guy that has something to do with the helping Pac done. No, the estate approved these. And so if they thought that Reg had something to do with that, or this evidence of that, you think they would approve Reg getting these plaques, or Reggie was just a security guard and didn't have anything involved in doing Death Row? But Reg is probably one of the only ones, Suge Knight, Tupac, and Miss Shakur, Tom Wally, that can get a plaque for every album that Tupac did from 96 on.
It's false. It's a lie. You understand what I'm saying? See, this is the thing when you're trying to rewrite history and trying to paint this narrative. I've showed you guys the way that this guy, Reggie the Rat Wright Jr., felt about Tupac after Tupac fired him.
Yasmin put that out because I said something that she didn't like, and she had some letter she put up. I can't say that I got it or didn't get it. I didn't get it. I didn't know about it. Because I showed it. I'm the type of nigga to be like, fuck that nigga. That's me. That's Reggie. If y'all don't know anything about me, I didn't need that little $300 a day profit I was making off having those two guys on there. But like, He don't want no security. Let them and his homeboys do it. Let them run around. I hope he get arrested and they get arrested with guns on him so his ass get violated and go back to jail. If that's all happened.
And so from that perspective, you know, he kind of mentioned and hinted at, yeah, you know, other people who got plaques on their walls, you know, in their videos. Oh, he was loosely talking about me. But see, this is the thing. Let me show you. He's saying that his plaques are legit because they're RIAA certified, correct? Remember, he was telling you that mine wasn't, right? Well, let me give you a close-up. And let me give you a close-up as to what it says, the contribution that my contribution involving those records were in the credits that I received involving those records. And I challenged Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. to give you a close-up of his illegitimate plaques, right? And show you the contribution that he had in dealing with those records. Absolutely nothing. And so from that perspective, that's why I said, and I started this video off with, the earth is round and what goes around comes around. So he's now trying to make this a false attempt, this fraudulent attempt to legitimize himself and having something to do with Tupac's career that he didn't have. Period. He also claimed, well, you know, I had, you know, I got doggy style plaques as well as the chronic plaques. Now we know that he had nothing to do with none of those records, right? But he said, you know, when he was over there, you know, doing security at Death Row, he still helped those albums to sell.
And yeah, I do have one for chronic and doggy style, even though I was just security then. But I was able to get one because guess what? I continued to help those albums sell from 96, 97 on. So yeah, y'all like to slap Reggie and take credit away from Reggie as this security and all of that.
You don't get plaques for helping an album to sell or being hanging around the record label or being a middleman liaison or some kind of runner. You don't get that for that. So just say that they gave you plaques because you were cool and that's what it was, because there is no contribution that Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. made, in essence, dealing with Tupac Shakur's career that would make it legitimate for him to receive any kind of platinum or gold record. None. Tupac was gone. Makaveli came out. That music was already done. Reggie had nothing to do with that. That was when the Afeni Shakur actually struck the deal with Jimmy Iovine because she put a cease and desist on it so that they couldn't come out with the record, and they paid Afeni Shakur $4.5 million for her to let that go and so that they could release the record. Reggie had nothing to do with that. These are facts, right? All eyes on me. We know Suge was alive. Suge, the CEO. Reggie had nothing to do with that. Right? All of that until the end of time. All of those records, all of those songs were already done. You understand what I'm saying? And at that particular time, when we talk about what really went down, Afeni Shakur and Interscope, Death Row was just an imprint at that particular time. Like I told you, I proved to you that Tupac wasn't signed to Death Row. But this is the nature of the business and how the business would be conducted, right? And last but not least, I'm going to give you the bigger picture of how this works. And so what Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. also tried to get you to believe, right? He said, well, you know, the estate, they sent me these plaques. And so, you know, since they came from the estate, they're legitimate and the RIAA certified. Let me explain something to you. When I got my plaques, back in, what was that? I would say like 2007, 8, something like that. When I got my plaques, the process in getting these, the real legitimate plaques is this. So there was a company by the name of Milestone, and they were out in Van Nuys. And Milestone actually did, at that particular time, they were doing all of the gold and platinum plaques for Disney, Sony, Warner Brothers, Universal, and so on and so forth, right? And so what you would need to do is, when I got my plaques made, what I had to do was I had to show them documentation and where it is that I was on a writer's credit, producer's credit, or anything like that, for them to even make the plaques for you, because they are RIAA certified. So I had to prove that I was who I said I was, that I did what I said I did, and I was involved how I said I was involved. And this is basically, they have a team that basically did the research and said, yes, he's telling the truth. And then they would go and make the plaques, right? So when Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. tries to tell you that the ones that he received from the estate are somehow more legitimate, is a lie. And just instead of just saying that, hey, they sent me some plaques, for my days at Death Row and how I assisted things and, try to, he couldn't do that. He had to try to make his name be synonymous or be right next to Suge's, Afeni's, Tom Wally's, and so on and so forth, when he did not have that kind of power and pull involving the situation in dealing with Tupac's career. We already know Tupac fired him, didn't like him, didn't trust him, didn't want nothing to do with him. That is a fact. And so now this attempt, after calling mine fake, to bring out these illegitimate plaques in which he had nothing substantial or substantive, like I said, substantial or anything to do with the creation of Tupac's music, none of that. So why is it that why does he have plaques? He's trying to play both sides of the fence. 1 minute it's fuck Tupac, fuck that nigga. The next minute he's, for my work, with Tupac and helping to sell these records. No, you didn't help sell records. The music sells the records. The music sells the records. If there's no music, there's no sales. So at the end of the day, all of the music that Tupac produced was the thing that garnered the attention, was the thing that made the record sell, and was the thing that made him the revered artist and revolutionary that he is today. So please do not be fooled by the same person who would try to discredit me, but then at the same time show you something that he had nothing to do with at all, trying to give him some kind of legitimacy involving the career of Tupac Shakur. It didn't happen. Your boy DELRAY, straight game.